Okay, so where we left off there was putting these pronouns in and where they belong in a sentence. So once again, our indirect object pronouns can go before a conjugated verb, le compré, I bought her the newspaper, or they can go after an infinitive, or still, like in this bottom sentence, I don't have a good way of getting rid of this menu bar here, so with my apologies, this says, me vas a comprar un refresco. So I can put that me in front of the vas again because vas is conjugated, or I could put that me right on the end of the infinitive. If I didn't put it here, I could say vas a comprarme un refresco. Vas a comprarme un refresco, so I can put that indirect object pronoun. Are you going to buy me a soft drink? So again, here's your direct object pronoun, soft drink. Me is your indirect object pronoun. So I'm going to say vas a comprarme un refresco, and I can put it right on the end of that infinitive again. Okay, so those are the three places, same three places as direct object pronouns, that we can put indirect object pronouns. Okay. So, for some examples of full sentences using direct and indirect object pronouns. Tú compraste las zanahorias para mí. You bought the carrots for me. Tú compraste las zanahorias para mí. Now, if I want to put in then a direct object pronoun for the carrots, because that's what you actually bought, right? You bought the carrots, that's what received the action of the verb, so that's the direct object. And if I want to put in a pronoun for the carrots, I'm going to put in las, a direct object pronoun, because las zanahorias is feminine. So I'm going to say, you bought them for me. So the them is the direct object pronoun referring to carrots. Alright? Now, what if I wanted to put in a pronoun, an indirect object pronoun for me as well then? So now I'm going to say, you bought still, so I'll work with my verb again, and because my verb is conjugated, you bought, that's what tells me where my direct object and indirect object pronouns can go, right? So because that's my verb and it's conjugated, I have to have both of my pronouns go in front of the conjugated verb. And when we have both an indirect and a direct object pronoun in the same sentence, the indirect object pronoun will always come first. So the me is referring to me. That's the indirect object pronoun. The las is still referring to zanahorias. That's the direct object pronoun. So when we're going to put them both in the same sentence, indirect always comes before direct. Okay? So indirect object pronoun always before the direct object pronoun, but they'll both go in front of a conjugated verb. Let's try another example. Ellos compraron los camarones, shrimp, los camarones. Ellos compraron los camarones para nosotros. They bought them for us. So which one's our direct object pronoun? Or which one's our direct object? They bought what? They bought camarones. There's our direct object. They bought them for whom? They bought them for us. So us is our indirect object. So if we're going to put pronouns in for this, first, starting with just a direct object pronoun for los camarones, we will use los, because it refers to los camarones. And then, if we want to put in both again, they bought them for us, then we'll put in the los, and we'll put in the nos, because it's the indirect object pronoun in front of it. So, ellos los compraron para nosotros. They bought them, referring to camarones, for us. Now, they bought them, again our verb, because it's conjugated, pronouns have to go in front, but they bought them, referring to camarones, for us, indirect object pronoun. So indirect always comes before direct if we have them both in the same sentence. Okay? A couple more examples. Ella escribió, this is the letter, la carta, a mí. She wrote it to me. So what did she write? She wrote a letter. That's the direct object. She wrote it to whom? To me. I'm the indirect object. So if I want to put, she wrote it, the it would be referring to the letter now. So if the it refers to the letter, then I want to have it be a la because it's la carta. So ella la escribió a mí. She wrote it to me. Now, she wrote me it. So we're going to put both direct and indirect object pronouns in this time. So the indirect will always go first, the direct will go second. So we have ella me la escribió. Me la escribió. She wrote it to me. Okay? Nosotros compramos las uvas para mi hermana. Right? We bought the grapes for my sister. Grapes is the direct object. My sister is the indirect object. So nosotros, we bought them, referring to grapes, would be las. For my sister, or we bought, sorry, put the verb in. We bought them grapes for my sister. Okay? Now, we bought them for her. So, let's again start with our verb, which would be compramos. So we bought, we have a conjugated verb, so again we know which both pronouns need to go in front of a conjugated verb. The indirect object pronoun is mi hermana, which would be her. So remember our indirect object pronouns would be le, right? Le for her. That's our indirect object pronoun. The direct object pronoun for grapes is going to be las. So what happens here is, and this is what you have to remember when you have this scenario come into play. When we have two pronouns, a direct and an indirect, if the first pronoun is either le or lace, it doesn't matter if it's singular or plural. If the first indirect object pronoun is le or lace, meaning him or her or them, and it comes before any direct object pronoun that starts with another L sound, la, lo, los. Okay? Any one of those four, la, lo, las, or los, any one of those four direct object pronouns that starts with another L sound, we want to stay away from that le, la, le, las, le, los sound. So, in order to stay away from that la sound, this le or lace is going to change to a se here, just to stay away from that la sound. It doesn't change the meaning, it doesn't change anything, it's just staying away from that la sound. Okay? So, when we have a direct object pronoun that starts with an L sound, and we have a le or lace that would have been in front of it, just change that le or lace to a se. Okay? Yo compré el pan para ellas. I bought the bread for them. Yo compré. I bought it. From bread, el pan would be lo. Yo lo compré para ellas. I bought it for them. The lo being a direct object pronoun because the bread is what I actually bought. It's a direct object. Now, if I put in both pronouns once again, I would say yo compré. I bought. Conjugated verb, so both have to come in front. Yo for them would be les. Right? Would be lace, but bread is lo. So because lo starts with an L, what do? We don't want to say lace lo. So instead of that lace, we make that a se. Alright? Yo se lo compré. I bought it for them, but that lace changed to a se. Notice it won't change to a sis with an S on there, even if it's plural referring to lace. It's always going to be le or lace, both change to just se. Okay? They bought us the bananas, so let's try some real quick. You think about them as I'm doing them, see if you can put it together. Maybe even pause the video here and see if you can put this together before I write them out. They bought us the bananas. Let's start with the verb. They bought would be compraron. Because we have a conjugated verb again, compraron. They bought, we have to put the pronouns in front. So if they bought us the bananas, us is the indirect object pronoun. So I put it in front. Nos compraron las bananas. Or in this case, let's change that and say los. There are different words for bananas in Spanish. In this case, we're going to use guineos, or the book might use los plátanos. But you should know that plátanos are a little bit different than what we are used to in the States as bananas. So los plátanos or los guineos. Guineos are a little bit more the type of banana that we're used to in the United States. Okay, so nos compraron, they bought us los guineos. Okay, they bought them for us. Now let's use the same bananas. Now we're saying both pronouns. They bought them for us. Let's start with our verb again. Compraron. They bought them for whom? For us. So there's our indirect object pronoun. So we'll start with our indirect object pronoun before the verb, nos. Now we have they bought them, the direct object pronoun for bananas. Since los guineos or los plátanos is masculine, our direct object pronoun will be los. Nos los compraron. They bought them for us. See? Oh no. We sold the eggs to the girl. We sold. Let's start with that. Vendimos. We sold. We sold what? The eggs. And we don't have a pronoun in for that right now. We're going to go ahead and say it. The eggs. Vendimos los huevos. Now we sold them to whom? To the girl. That makes her the indirect object. So we would have what for her as an indirect object? Le. Le vendimos los huevos. And we put it in front because vendimos is conjugated. See? Le vendimos los huevos. We sold her the eggs. Now we sold them to her. We're going to have to put them both in again. Start with our verb again. Vendimos. It's conjugated, so we know the pronouns have to go in front. To her, let's start with the indirect object pronoun, which would be le. Them, referring to los huevos, would be los. Now because we would have a le los vendimos, we change that to se. Se los vendimos. We sold them to her. ¿Sí o no? Preguntas, email or textear. Okay, any questions, email me, text me, get some practice on the online homework. But that is how we use pronouns, both direct and indirect pronouns, in Spanish sentences.